Gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. It is Thursday, 12th September 2024, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago. I am Adana Kumbi. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. It is a privilege and an honor to be coming to you this morning, to be bringing you information about things happening in and around the Tobago. And we're so happy that you've chosen us and made us a part of your morning routine. This morning is a bit of a somber start to our show this morning, with news coming in there last night. But we'll chat a little bit more about that later on in our program. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for those of you who are viewing us on our Facebook live stream, on YouTube channel, or on Amplia 102. It's always a privilege and an honor to be coming your way, and we're so happy that you have chosen us to be a part of your morning routine. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have to get on with our program this morning, and as we so do, we head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Thursday, September 12, 2024. The decomposing body of a mother and her two children were discovered last evening at Parrot Hall, Palatavere, in a 40-foot metal water tank belonging to Wassa. The victims have been identified as 33-year-old Sarah Smith, 3-year-old Genuine Smith, and 18-month-old Phoenix Smith. The trio had been missing since the 30th of August 2024. Tobago police are continuing investigations into the incident. Up next, Alvin Daniel, also known as Saj, was fatally shot in Palatavere yesterday, marking the island's 22nd murder for 2024. Daniel and a female passenger were in a vehicle when gunmen opened fire, with residents reporting hearing gunshots. Both victims were taken to the Roxburgh Hospital, where Daniel succumbed to his injuries. Police are continuing investigations into the matter. And finally, former Tobago House of Assembly Chief Secretary Orville London is among 5 notable individuals to receive honorary doctorates from the University of Trinidad and Tobago during its 2024 graduation ceremony in October. London will be honored for his contributions to politics and education. The honoraries include Stiram Prasad Kosal for philanthropy and innovation, Leon Edwards for steel pan music composition and arrangement, Marilyn Gordon for education and sports, and Bertram Kelman for steel pan tuning and design. President Christine Kangaloo, UTT's Chancellor, will preside over the ceremony. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Biana, for our news there in 90 seconds. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, a very somber start to our show this morning, with news coming in there, 2 incidents taking place there in Palatavere yesterday. And, it's kind of very concerning and disturbing, hearing that type of news when it came in yesterday evening. Sometimes you're just at a loss for words. Sometimes you try to assess a situation and you just can't come to anything.
True.
And that's almost where I am this morning, and, the reports that we've been hearing leading up to the discovery and some of the things persons said prior to this incident taking place, it causes you to wonder a lot. It really is very unsettling, and the major assessment leads to or alludes to mental issues, right? And I just want to take some time this morning to encourage persons to be a support to somebody else. You know, you might be in a circle or in a situation, a community, wherever you are, whether at work or whatever, and you might notice the change in behavior of someone or someone experiencing some measure of challenge that they are unable to manage themselves. You know, we really supposed to be our brother's keeper. We're here for each other, Bianna. I am here for you and you for me. And we really, you know, should look out for each other in that kind of way and lend that measure of support. Ask a question. You know, sometimes persons don't like to come forward asking for help, but sometimes you can determine that this person needs help, and so we can be there for them in that kind of way. I mean, where are you this morning, Bianna, with this news coming to light?
As it relates to the situation, right? It's a matter of being lost for words, because, you know, it's like 2 children, innocent, lives taken, lives gone, should say. And as you said, we are a brother's keeper, but sometimes some situations are very, you know, ticklish. You're not sure how to probably deal with it or go forward and ask the person if they want help. But, you know, persons at least should try and reach out for help, so that situations could be avoided, such as this one.
That's right. If you are able to, I know sometimes it's very difficult, but if you're able to reach out for help, let somebody know that you're going through a tough time, even if you don't go into the details of your situation, you know, alert someone that you're going through a tough time and you might need some type of support. And even if somebody going through something and you don't want to ask a question, you think it might be a little bit too personal, then I think you can alert somebody in authority or somebody who has the capacity to reach out to that person to give them that measure of support that they might need, you know, to go through that tough time, because life is hard sometimes, you know.
Life is lifing,
That's right, and we all need each other, and so we just really need to, you know, band together. I know Tobago right now is, you know, in a place of shock, and with all that has been happening over the past months, you know, we really have been going through some tough times. So I want to encourage everyone, all of our viewers, and all of Tobago, you know, Trinidad by extension as well, you know, to just, as I said, take a moment just to breathe, to relax. There are things that you know, we have to do as individuals. People are depending on us to show up at work, at home, wherever we are. The bills are waiting on us, things are piling up, and sometimes it can be really, really overwhelming. But each and every day, let us just take a moment to breathe and just to think on the positive things, to thank God for at least having life, you know, and deal with the other things after. And if you can, ask for help. Right? Bianna, thank you so much for joining me this morning to have this little discourse. I think it was very important, and I do hope that someone was able to gain something from this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the morning where we celebrate with those who are celebrating today. We head on over to our birthday shout-outs. And starting the ball rolling this morning is my dear friend Amanise Charles. Amanise is celebrating a birthday today, and Amanise, we join with you this morning in celebrating your birthday. We say thank God for your life, and we do hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday. So happy birthday to you. We also have Jade Bridget Baines. Yes, it's her birthday today. And Jade, we want to wish you a happy birthday today. And in case you're wondering, yes, this is the daughter of Assemblyman and Pastor Terence Baines. She is celebrating today, and we want to wish you a very, very happy birthday. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and we do hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful year ahead. And of course, for those of you who are celebrating a birthday, even though we don't have your photographs, we do join with you in celebrating your birthday. We stay with the celebrations as we have an anniversary to celebrate as well. We celebrate a lovely couple who is celebrating their 48th wedding anniversary. And this is Mr. and Mrs. Williams. Yes, Mr. and Mrs. St. Lambert Williams. If you know anything about these people, they operated a canteen, what we call Compre Signal Hill Senior Comprehensive School back in the day. You know, a beautiful, beautiful couple there, always smiling, always giving a word of encouragement to those who need it, and always, if you're slacking off, they would not be afraid to pull you up. So Mr. and Mrs. Williams, this is coming from Sabrina, Desiree, Gilda, Anson, Sean, Skylar, Boy, and all your other friends and family, and us here too at the Tobago Updates Television family. We say happy wedding anniversary to you. You know, getting to 48 years in marriage is not an easy thing. So we salute you this morning and we celebrate with you as well. Remember to give God thanks for life, for no one can give life unto himself except God gives life unto him. So you might be wondering, who are we having conversations with this morning in studio? And we start conversations off by speaking with Mr. Anil Roberts. Mr. Anil Roberts is a former Minister of Sports here in Trinidad and Tobago. And today we speak about Akeem Stewart. You know, he participated there in the Paralympics Games in Paris 2024. The lone representative of Trinidad and Tobago, and he came home with a silver medal. So we're going to have conversations around that this morning. We also speak with Reverend Dr. Sheila Waldron Joseph, Director of PAWI, and Mrs. Wendy Ann Francis, Administrator, as we speak about a women's conference that is upcoming. So you want to be a part of that conversation as well. And then we end the conversation by speaking with Gillian Stanislaus, Manager of EMA Tobago. We speak about EMA guidelines during the 2024 October Carnival. And that is what our conversation will look like here in studio this morning. So we do hope that you can stay with us. I want to say a special welcome to those of you who are viewing right here in Tobago, in Trinidad, the Caribbean region, the United States of America, Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, the continent of Africa and Asia. Wherever you are today, welcome to our show, and thank you so much for choosing us and making us one show here in Tobago in the morning. We have to go for a short break before we start our show this morning. And before we go for a break, of course, we invite you to help us share the live. We'll be right back.
Are you an architect or draftsman looking to upgrade your skills, or a beginner eager to master essential tools? ReCAD Labs has the solution. Our Revit Architecture Fundamental Tobago course is designed to boost your skills and confidence. Running from October 6th to November 17th, this course includes a live session on November 17th for hands-on learning. Learn from experts in our virtual classroom and stay ahead in the world of architecture. Visit recadlabs.com to enroll now and follow us on social media for updates.
Are you ready to optimize your wedding business for engagement season and book more clients? Refine is the place to be. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Saturday, 14th September 2024 from 9 a.m. Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Tobago. This premier event is designed specifically for Caribbean wedding industry professionals. Gain expert insights, practical knowledge, and valuable connections that can help you thrive in the destination wedding market. Register now at refinesummit.com. It is time to refine. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Get insider info, advice, and insights from local, regional, and international players in the destination wedding market. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Saturday, 14th September 2024, Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Tobago. It's time to refine.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Attention members, now is your chance to double or even
even triple your dividend payment with no increase in your existing loan payment. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to boost your dividends effectively. Whether you're planning a vacation or simply looking to maximize your savings, we've got you covered. Call us today at 639-8226 or 631-1336. Message us on Facebook for more information. Hurry, this offer won't last long. Bethel Credit Union, because we see you at BCU.
Guys, there's some new developments in housing in Tobago, so it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Stop. You don't have to sneak in. You don't have to sneak. Pigeon Point security, we have access pass. You don't have to sneak in.
What access passes, sir?
The new Pigeon Point Breaking Beach access card. With this card, you can get free access to Pigeon Point, a free umbrella, and a free chair. So make sure you get your Pigeon Point access card.
I can get up?
Definitely. This is your access card, so you can now go into Pigeon Point.
Okay.
Guys, we outside in Pigeon Point, sun and we enjoying it with we access cards. All social media links to Youth Voice and Pigeon Point would be tagged, and stay tuned for it.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you for staying with us. We begin conversations this morning. We speak with Mr. Anil Roberts, and he's a former Minister of Sports here in Trinidad and Tobago. And we speak about Akeem Stewart, our lone representative of Trinidad and Tobago in the Paralympics game, coming home with a silver medal. Good morning, Mr. Roberts, and welcome.
Good morning, and good morning to the beautiful island of Tobago.
Of course. We're so happy that you can join us this morning. And, of course, very important topic this morning. And we'd love to get your perspective, especially as a former minister of sports here on the island of Tobago. I know a lot of emphasis is placed usually on the Olympics, preparing our athletes to get there. We had the conversation with you before, getting our athletes there and expecting, us to produce medals at the games. And now we've sent Akeem Stewart, the lone representative for Trinidad and Tobago, coming out of Tobago and returning with a silver medal, of course, making the nation proud. The situation now is that he has been rewarded a token, $150,000, if I am correct, and the conversation is now in the air. We've seen where other athletes have gone to other games, coming in with, less than silver, and of course reward being a little bit more. So we have a concern and a question, and we want to have that conversation this morning. My first question to you is there any type of regulation that guides the process in terms of how do you decide or determine what the reward is going to be for any athlete representing the country on an international stage?
Well, great question. Let me first of all state that the mere fact that we're having this conversation is rather sad and rather backward. Let me first of all say to Akeem Stewart, thank you, my brother. Thank you for your efforts. Thank you for your training. Thank you for going out on the global stage and flying the flag of Tobago and Trinidad high. You missed a gold medal by 1.5 meters. That is so close for you to come back again after 2016 gold and to bring glory to Trinidad and Tobago, to you, your coaches, your management, your parents, your family, to the island of Tobago. Thank you and congratulations. Now, the discourse that you're talking about is so completely unnecessary if we had people in charge of sport who understand. There used to be regulations, as you put it. There was a policy created, developed with consultation and implemented by me in 2011, 2012, 2013, and so on, to reward athletes for their performance for our beloved country. Because I have been involved in sports since 1976. And what happens is we as politicians, we as parents, we as family members, we try to corrupt sport by putting nepotism into it and who know who and who like who. Sport is not about that. It does not matter where you come from, what class you come from, what color, what race, religion. If you are disciplined, talented, brilliant, you listen to your coaches and you perform, then you should be rewarded. There was a policy of reward created by me, implemented by me, approved by the cabinet, and the PNM came and they discarded it and went back to the old ways of, if I like you, you get this. If I don't like you, you get that. And we don't understand what and why we are rewarding or giving a token. Look, you describe it as a token. Let me start at the beginning. To create a policy of reward, you have to first have an understanding of what athletes do, what they achieve, what is the benefit for Trinidad and Tobago, what is the sacrifice, what is the cost and the risk that they take on our behalf. I am of the firm belief that athletes deserve much more than we can ever give them, because the marketing value, for example, of what Akeem Stewart did, winning gold in 2016 and now silver on the global stage with over 20, 30 million people looking at him, seeing the Trinidad and Tobago emblazoned on his chest as he made his throw or as he went up on the podium. That value could be to market Tobago and to market Trinidad and to put us in the mindshare of the population of the world. That could be valued somewhere between 15 to 30 million US. So, when you understand the value of great athletes, then a reward position is not just a token. It's not just something you feel to give. It's not a political statement. It's not a public service or a propaganda machine. It is an actual appreciation of the value of an athlete. So, for example, other things that went into the policy that I created back then was you have to look at the participation globally in the sport. So if, for example, track and field, all 207 sovereign nations take part in track and field. So when you go to the Olympics, you have every country represented. You then look at the history of the event. Track and field was there in the old Olympics and the modern Olympics from 1896. All countries participate. So when you get in there and you become the best of the best, that is a great achievement. If we compare it, for example, to cricket, the Cricket World Cup, as opposed to track and field Olympic gold or to Football World Cup, will not hold as much weight or value in that less countries participate in cricket. So in cricket, in a World Cup, you will have, 12 main countries and then another 10 or 12. The game is growing now. So that's another point. These things are dynamic and must be adjusted as sports improve, sports get accreditation, more people participate. So when the mass of the globe is participating, the value of the achievement is higher and greater.
And Mr.
So,
Roberts,
for example, when I was there, an Olympic gold medal would have been worth at that time, based on resource allocation, $1 million plus a high-level government house, HDC, plus a national award, plus something being named after you for your legacy, and also an educational scholarship or situation created to keep your name going on into future generations. Silver medal, Olympics, 750,000, bronze medal, 500,000. You also have to rank the competitions.
I was just about to ask Mr. Roberts, is there a ranking in terms of the competitions? Because I know a lot of emphasis is placed on the Olympics. And when we interviewed Akeem before he went to Paris, his coach, Mr. Wade Franklin, he mentioned that people don't really give the prestige to Paralympics as they give to the Olympics. He even went on to say that the athletes there, they outperform persons who participate in the Olympics. He said that sometimes the record would show that they jump higher, they run faster, they bring in faster times and faster speeds. And so, I'm wondering now if there's a ranking in the different types of championships that athletes participate in that would allow for how do you reward them when they return?
Okay, there is a ranking, and the ranking is based on the amount of countries participating, the amount of athletes participating globally in the sport. So, for example, every human being could run. So, track and field would be ranked as one of the highest in the Olympics. We have Olympic Games. The ranking is for most sports: Olympic Games, World Championship, Pan American Games, Commonwealth Games, and come down. Now, some championships, they have world championships like in swimming, long course as opposed to short course. The long course will be ranked higher because of the many years that they have taken part in. So unfortunately for my coach from Paralympics, of course he is passionate about his individual sport. I love all sports and I have no favorites. I balance it and judge it with total impartiality. The Paralympics will not get the amount of attention as the Olympics as yet, because the Olympics was started in 1896 and has a longer history. Number one, the Paralympics and Special Olympics movement began really in the early 80s with Nancy Reagan and so on. So now in the last 20 years, Paralympics has become and is lifting. So the portfolio, the attention globally and so on is growing, but it has not met globally the interest or the number of eyes watching it as the Olympics. I'm not sure what he meant with running faster than able-bodied athletes and so on. That does not exist. That's not factual. However, that's irrelevant because you're not going to compare able-bodied athletes with differently able athletes. Differently able athletes are now getting the attention that they deserve. The sport is growing, and therefore we must respect and move with it. It's similar to women's basketball, for example. The NBA has been in existence for 100 years. The WNBA is now getting eyes on it. They're now generating people to watch it. Therefore, the money is now coming in. The sponsorship is now coming in. The salaries are low compared to the men because the game was not as respected as before, and it's a newer product. Similarly, Paralympics and Special Olympics is a newer product. Furthermore, when you talk about participation, just on raw numbers, there in every country, there's a higher percentage of normal athletes or normally abled athletes as opposed to differently abled athletes. In a population, the differently abled population may range from 4% to 7%. Therefore, requisite with that goes also the marketability, the attention, and so on. So everything has to be looked at scientifically. It has to be looked at with money and marketing dollar value, attention. So it cannot be compared. You have to compare apples with apples, Kariley with Kariley, and bygone with bygone. So the fact is, the main point is, we should not be having this discussion because the policy or the regulations, as you describe it, were there. So it does not matter whether you're from Tobago, Toco, Matot, Cuba, Chaguanas. Once you achieve certain things, Olympics, Paralympics, individual sport, Commonwealth Games, Pan Am Games, CAC Games, World Championship, that you should just be able to open a book, and that's what your reward is. There is no subjectivity. It must be objective criteria.
Mr. Roberts, from your position and your experience, if you were in the position right now and based on the resources that might be available, what would be your recommendation? Let's say that there is a regulation. What would be in the regulations now or the policy document right now to guide the reward that would be given to Akeem?
Well, what you would do it would be on a calculation of the competitive pool of athletes competing, the countries competing in the Paralympics as opposed to the regular Olympics. And therefore, I can say that with the growth of the Paralympic movement, which is exponential, that if reward $1 million for gold, $750,000 for silver, $750,000 for a silver in the regular Olympics, that at least 300 to 400,000 would be right now the level of a silver medal at the Paralympics based on the number of countries participating, the number of athletes taking part globally, the percentage of athletes who are differently abled as opposed to the numbers for regular Joes.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Roberts, for breaking that down for us and for taking us through the elements that contribute to making a decision in terms of a reward. You know, you spoke about a lot of different things that the average person would not think of, but policymakers, of course, would have to go through these processes in terms of doing the ratio and looking at the figures, looking at the numbers of persons who are contributing to this sport in terms of participating countries, the eyes on them, and of course, you know, all that goes into preparing an athlete to take an international stage. Of course, those things would lend to the reward figure, and we really appreciate the information that you brought this morning so that we can have an idea as to how these things are assessed and presented. And we do hope that, of course, a review can be done, you know, for future reference to ensure that the athletes do feel appreciated, because I know a lot goes into the preparation, and of course a reward is appreciated. However, we're looking for something that is balanced and fair across the board, and knowing that there is a policy document, I don't know if it is effective right now, but probably reviewing the policy documents and ensuring that it is implemented across the board. Mr. Roberts, I want to say thank you.
Leave you with this before you go to ads. Let me just leave you with this. There was a policy document, the PNM threw it away and are doing their own thing. For example, Dion Lendor, may God rest his soul, before he won a world championship indoor silver medal, the PNM just said that that doesn't count, but that they went to reward CAC Games. A world champion indoor medal is of a higher ranking based on the number of countries participating, the level of competition, the number of athletes taking part. It is higher ranked than a Central American and Caribbean Games medal. But I want to leave Tobago with this. While I give you a whole, and there's a lot more that will go into it, and there's junior athletes, team competitions, and so on, I want us to remember the main thing here It's well done, Akeem Stewart, my brother. I appreciate the hard work, the sacrifice, you and your coach every morning, every evening, torturing your body to bring glory for Trinidad and Tobago. I want us to remember that and say thank you, Akeem.
Thank you so much, Mr. Roberts, for joining us this morning and bringing the strong points there for us. We do appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Mr. Anil Roberts, former Minister of Sports here in Trinidad and Tobago, as we review the Akeem Stewart Reward for his sterling performance there at the Paralympics in Paris 2024. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations this morning. And as we go for a break, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Stop. You don't have to sneak in. You don't have to sneak. Pigeon Point security, we have access pass. You don't have to sneak in.
What access pass is that?
The new Pigeon Point Breaking Beach access card. With this card, you can get free access to Pigeon Point, a free umbrella, and a free chair. So make sure you get your Pigeon Point access card.
I can get that?
Definitely. This is your access card, so you can now go into Pigeon Point.
Okay. Guys,
I'm so relieved Javel gave me this money. Now I could enjoy the holidays with my family and not have to worry about monies for bags, books, and shoes.
Javel? Who is Javel? She could give me some money too?
Javel is the July-August vacation education loan at Bethel Credit Union. Up to $20,000 to help with all additional expenses during this July-August.
Yes, you heard right. Call the Bethel Credit Union and ask for Javel. She'll hook you up with the money to take care of all your additional expenses this holiday season. Open to new members too. Get up to $20,000 and have a worry-free holiday with Javel. Call 639-8226 or 631-1336 or message us on Facebook for more information.
Are you an architect or draftsman looking to upgrade your skills, or a beginner eager to master essential tools? ReCAD Labs has the solution. Our Revit Architecture Fundamental Tobago course is designed to boost your skills and confidence. Running from October 6th to November 17th, this course includes a live session on November 17th for hands-on learning. Learn from experts in our virtual classroom and stay ahead in the world of architecture. Visit recadlabs.com to enroll now and follow us on social media for updates.
Attention all talented individuals and groups in Tobago. This is your moment to shine. Showcase your skills in music, dance or drama at Tobago Star Quest. Prelim auditions are held every Sunday across various communities throughout Tobago. Seize the chance to win exciting prizes and demonstrate your talent. For more details, visit our Instagram page at tobago.star.quest or email tobagostarquest@gmail.com. We look forward to seeing you there.
Go in. You have to stop it. You have to stop it.
Welcome to my kitchen, guys.
You have to stop it every night.
That's it. That's the intro. Let's do it one more time, right?
put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kumbi, and we continue conversations this morning in studio, and we speak with Reverend Dr. Sheila Waldron Joseph, Director of PAWI, and Mrs. Wendy Ann Francis, Administrator as well. We speak about an upcoming women's conference, very important in these times that we are in this morning. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning and thank you.
Of course, a pleasure to have you here this morning, beautiful ladies, as we go into preparations for an upcoming women's conference. And I was looking at the theme this morning, and it says a woman of excellence, not easily broken. And in society there are so many demands on the woman.
Yes.
She has to be mother, she has to be wife, she has to be doctor, she has to be lawyer, she has to part fights, and there's so many things that are demanded from this woman. And now we're talking about not easily broken, because when you take on all of these things, sometimes it is, so tell us a little bit about what we can expect from a conference of this nature, and what was the idea behind coming up with the theme for this year?
Okay, thank you again for having us. The idea around this whole theme, women of excellence, not easily broken, is that we know as women, as you rightfully said, we are faced with a lot of challenges from day to day, mother, teacher, part in fights, everything. But we are saying that even though we face these challenges, we always come out on top.
Wow.
We always succeed.
And not by ourselves, not in isolation.
That's right.
And of course, I suppose this is what this conference is about: women coming together, to draw on each other's strength. We had a recent incident happening here on the island of Tobago just yesterday, and we were talking about the type of support women need to go through things. Not that men don't go through things too, but we're focusing this morning on women.
That's right.
And the community that is being formed around our women. So I want to know some of the things that will be discussed, or that we will be talking about at the conference. I know you can't give us everything, but some of the important things that will come out in this conference.
Well, really and truly, we have left that up to our conference speakers, but we expect messages that will encourage and empower and strengthen our women, letting them know that in spite of all the challenges that you might face, you can overcome. You can be victorious. And our heart really go out to the family of this young lady and these children, because not all of us could go through the challenges of this life and stand. And this conference has the responsibility of letting women know you're not alone. We are there with you. I am my sister's keeper. I'm there to encourage you. I'm there to hold your hand. So I know that our three dynamic speakers will indeed bring out aspects of the scripture that will encourage us and let us know that we can make it together.
And you said bringing out things of the scripture. I was going to mention that this is coming out of PAWI. So the foundation of this is biblical, spiritual.
Yes, it is. PAWI, the Pentecostal Assembly of the West Indies. We are the Tobago District, WM, Women's Ministries.
Absolutely amazing. And the types of ministration that would come, because I'm seeing on the flyer, Ministry of the Word, Dance and Worship. So talk us through a little bit about the structure of the program, if you may.
So the program will start off, of course, with praise and worship, which is so important that we need to get into that aspect of worshiping God.
That's right.
We have the dance and the special in terms of the ministering in song, right? And we also have two dynamic chairpersons who would be chairing the program as well, because we really want it to be spirit-filled. We really want to minister to the women. As you were talking about women, it's our passion and it's my passion as well. Because many times we would have discussed that women are sometimes taken for granted. A lot of people, even as women, we take other women for granted. We seem to think that, okay, that's what she always does. It's okay, she's a mother, so that's what she does. She's a wife, she's a woman. So we don't take into consideration the fact that at times she goes through stress. At times she needs to be refreshed. She needs to be built up. She goes through times of depression just like everybody else. But if she has children, if she has a husband, if she has things to do, what does she do? She puts on, we put on our makeup, we look really pretty, and we walk outside and everybody think that everything is okay, but it's not. And so it's so important for us to really take this time. You know, this conference is really to minister, give back to women, to empower women, to remind them of who they are.
Yes.
Not just who they are as a woman, but who they are in Christ. The power that they possess, the strength that women possess, and the impact that we make on this world. Even though at times it's looked upon as if it's nothing. Listen to me. If mothers, women weren't around, where would this world be? Because the level of resilience, I mean, and you know, some men may want to take offense, but let's be honest, the level of resilience that God has put within a woman, it is second to none.
That's
And
right.
so we really want to have this conference to really minister to women and uplift them.
And you know, I'm listening to you and I'm feeling and sensing the passion in what you're talking about. And I can identify with some of the things. As you mentioned, people might think, well, she's a woman, so she has to get on with it. You still have to cook. You still have to take care of the
Yes,
children.
that's
Whether you
right.
feel angry, depressed, sad,
That's
lonely, hurt, whatever you feel, you have to put that aside
Yes.
and get on with the business of the day.
Yes.
And you know, this measure of support, of course, is welcomed so that women can know, and also to be reminded that they have a foundation in Christ.
Yes.
You know, and so we of course welcome this opportunity for women to just relax. Tell us what it's taking place and how do persons access accessibility to the event itself.
Well, this event going to be taking place at the Lowlands Multipurpose Facility. There's a cost attached, as with everything else. It's going to be a conference of excellence, as you said, Women of Excellence. The cost is $250, but there's an early bird special that has been extended. People would have been hearing about it on 98.1. So we have extended our early bird special to the 15th of September, allowing women to get in on the early bird special, get your ticket, be there. It's going to be dynamic.
Right. And what time is the program?
The program starts at 10 and it goes to 3. When we say 3, we say 3 in inverted brackets because the laws take over the place.
right.
We don't know. We don't have time. We don't have a handle on time. Yeah.
I totally understand and can identify with that. So there's going to be a lot of substance here because you're talking about 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's an all-day event.
Yes.
So, and of course, you know, we're expecting a lot of ministrations, as you mentioned before, and your dynamic speakers. Who are the speakers that will be presenting at the conference?
Okay, so we have Minister Laurel Brown. She comes out of the Moriah Miracle Center under the leadership of our bishop, Reverend Nose McCall. We have Reverend Belinda Manswell Daniel. She comes from the Moravian fraternity, powerful minister of the word. And then we have Minister Cheryl Ramchaitsing coming out of 98.1. When she opens her mouth, she sets the house on fire.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
You
she
know,
does an excellent job.
if you follow her at all, if you've ever listened to her speak, she tells the things as they are.
That's right.
You know, so it's something to look forward to. And if you were to encourage women to come out, what would be your encouragement to them, to tell them, listen, this is something you need to be a part of. You don't want to miss this opportunity for the investments. Make the investment for that pouring into you. How would you encourage them to come out?
You know, I would say, we know you may say you don't have the money, but this is more than just the money. This is an investment in yourself, in yourself as an individual. And at times, we need to take that time where we lock away and take care of us. This is our me time. I'm saying to our women, this is our me time to come together, to fellowship, to be refreshed, to be encouraged, to be uplifted, to be revitalized, to go back out into your families, to your work, to wherever you are, your communities, and be a blessing. This is a time where you are not pouring out, but you are being poured into. And it's so important to be poured into so that you can continue doing the good work that you are doing.
Absolutely, absolutely amazing stuff. And I like how you ended there. You are not pouring out, you're being poured into.
right.
I love that. So it's a beautiful opportunity for you women to come out and, of course, be a part of something that is amazing happening here on the island of Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Reverend Sheila Waldron Joseph, Director of Power Tobago, and Mrs. Wendy and Francis, Administrator, as they speak about an upcoming women's conference taking place here on the island of Tobago on September 21st from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Lowlands Multipurpose Facility. $250 for the tickets. So don't be left behind. Be a part of this amazing, amazing event. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have to go for a short break before we continue conversations this morning. And as we go for a break, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. Free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Are you ready to optimize your wedding business for engagement season and book more clients? Refine is the place to be. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Saturday, 14th September 2024 from 9 a.m. Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Tobago. This premier event is designed specifically for Caribbean wedding industry professionals. Gain expert insights, practical knowledge, and valuable connections that can help you thrive in the destination wedding market. Register now at refinesummit.com. It is time to refine. Refine. The Wedding Business Summit. Get insider info, advice, and insights from local, regional, and international players in the destination wedding market. Refine. The Wedding Business Summit. Saturday, 14th September 2024, Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Tobago. It's time to refine.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kambi and we're just about 7:49 a.m. So if you're getting to work for 8 a.m., if you haven't dropped the children off yet, you might be a little bit late for work. But remember to be safe on our nation's roads. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we continue conversations this morning in studio as we speak with Gillian Stanisclaus, Assistant Manager of the EMA Tobago, as we speak about guidelines for the upcoming October Carnival here on the island of Tobago. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. It's good that you invited me here this morning to give some information. So off the bat, this is related to the noise pollution control rules. Before an event, even though it's Carnival in October, we have some pre-Carnival events. And there are timelines that we want to remind members of the public about that you need to apply. So for example, the 35 days before an event, the Carnival is on October the 25th to the 27th. And 35 days before the event, you need to put your information in the papers. That's 2 consecutive days, and on the 28 days before the event, you submit the application for your event, whatever that may be. For example, you may have an event on the 25th of October. You are supposed to put your ads in the papers on the 20th of September and submit your application to the EMA either online or at our office in Carnby on the 27th of September. Outside of that time, we will not be able to facilitate any events. And I know that some persons are concerned, they call after the period has closed off, that if we could help them because they need to get their bar license, but we cannot facilitate. Because the laws have been out there for a long time. And we have had in the past persons abusing that request. So we have taken the decision at the EMA that we need to enforce the laws of Trinidad and Tobago. And why that is important? Because noise, what is entertainment for you, might be a problem for somebody else. And we want to give members of the public the opportunity to know what is going to be taking place in their community, in their area, and have them either make alternative arrangements or you put things in place to assist the members of your community. And if we keep facilitating persons not applying, at the end of the day, we may have problems going forward.
And a lot of complaints coming in, especially if events are being held in residential areas where people, as you rightfully said, are not able to make alternative arrangements to be away from that space. And I'm happy that you mentioned that it is in the law that they must submit on time. And I too have heard of promoters skating in there on the last minute, trying to get, a bly, as we say locally here. So I want you to remind our viewers about the dates that they must submit their applications to ensure that they get the level of support from the EMA to proceed with their events.
Okay, so I'm specifying it for the not outside of Carnival. So 35 days before the event. But as I mentioned before, if your event is on the 25th of October, this Carnival season, you need to submit your applications by the 20th of September in the papers. And it's 2 consecutive days. And then on the 27th of September, you need to submit your application. Now, it's not only that you put it in the papers and you're waiting weeks after to submit. No, we still can't accept it because we have processing of the application to conduct, and our timelines are affected, and we have promoters sometimes will call us and say, but I sent it in. But no, we have a processing time. We have officers who have other things to do, and we have to take the time to fully evaluate, because sometimes we have questions. You submit your application, but it's not complete to our satisfaction, and we may have a question. Are there receptors around your area? For example, some events may be taking place close, well, not this time of year, but in the past, you will have an event taking place on a turtle nesting beach. So then we have to go and do a site visit, do additional information. So that is why we ask persons to apply 28 days, submit the application to us 28 days before the event.
And you mentioned putting it in the paper and then coming to EMA. Can you send your application to EMA immediately after you post in the paper? There's a time period where you have to wait before you send the application?
Actually, we will be very happy if you, as soon as you get the consecutive days on the papers, you send in your application the very next day, because it gives us more time to process. We've had a number of our communities who the fishermen fed over the years, sometimes they come and send in the application 2-3 months in advance. Because it's not, the issue is don't wait until it's closer to your events. You can come in way earlier and we facilitate, you get your things in place, and you don't have the issue of having to rush, because then you have to go to the court and get your bar license, and the court now is not going to give you your bar license unless you have your noise pollution control rules certificate.
I know some promoters might be thinking, okay, they're not certain because they're waiting on maybe sponsorship, maybe partnerships. Things might hinder them from getting, from deciding, well, yes, we're actually going to have the event on this day or that day. In the event, a promoter has to push back the dates. Does it affect the application process if they've already sent in the application?
Yes, it does. If you change the date, then you have to go and resubmit in the papers. The reason we ask persons to submit your application into the newspapers is to give members of the public the opportunity to know that an event is coming in my area. And when they see that, they may be able to put things in place. For example, we've had people call in to our office complaining they have exams coming up. And then this major fete is coming, but as they knew about it, they were able to put other things in place so that they're not disturbed during the event, and they're still able to pass the exams. So as I said before, sometimes we think that it's a nuisance, and it's only $250 as compared to what the promoters and they put out there. And it's basically we being our brother's keeper in this community. We understand that some people like to party, they like to go out and do the events, but you also have to consider those around you.
And as we're talking about the noise aspect of the events, I want to veer a little bit off from this topic. Something that happens every day, real life situations we're talking about. People driving motor vehicles with blaringly loud music. Is there any relationship in terms of the EMA regulating that type of behavior as well?
Well, there are two ways to answer that question. First of all, if this moving vehicle is under the purview of licensing, they have the regulation under the maxi taxi and some other legislation that they can implement. The only way, and we have had to treat with this in the past, we have had persons who go and park up at home and leave the music on. Now, the limitation we have is that when we monitor for noise, we spend half an hour monitoring. So you will understand that if somebody sees us come with our meter, they will take off the music.
Right.
And we cannot be able, we will not be able to facilitate and get the reading. In that situation, we try conversations and mediate between the complainant and the person's complaint against, which is the person playing the music.
You know, this is very, very interesting information that we're having here, and I'm wondering if there's going to be any type of public education rule out so people can really be aware as to what is right and acceptable and the practices that are a little bit irresponsible, so that they can know how to behave in public spaces, and especially also preparing for the events as well. Because I'm telling you, if you live in a residential area, and as you rightfully mentioned, it's my car, and I'm in my home, and I can have my music as loud as I want. So some people think that way, and rightfully so, it's their stuff. But when you live among people, there are things that you have to be regulated by. So I'm hoping to see some information coming out in terms of informing people what is the right thing to do, the right and responsible thing to do as it relates to that. And of course, promoters there who are getting ready for the October Carnival, remember to get your applications in. Remember, of course, to contact the EMA. Is there a number they can reach you at?
So 238-6717. They can call if they have any questions or queries. And remember, the 20th of September is right around the corner, and the Carnival is on the 25th and the 27th. So the latest you can submit your application is the 20th of September. And we are aware that there are at least 19 events that are Carnival 25th to 27. And we have not received all the applications as yet. So we have been paying attention because we want to minimize the impact on persons who may not be participating in your specific event.
That's right. That's right. So please, viewers out there, those promoters who are getting ready for your pre-carnival events, remember the deadline to submit your application is the 20th of September. That's sometime next week, so you have a little bit of time. So use the rest of this week into next week to ensure you get your applications in there so that the things can run smoothly with the EMA and you won't have to be rushing and begging for a bly in this season. You want to ensure that your event is well promoted and well supported the legal way. You don't want a shutdown, right? You don't want that happening at your event at all. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. In closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers?
Yes, we have been working with the Tobago House of Assembly. We have been part of the coordinating committee, and we are really happy to be so much involved in the process that we can provide information and guidance. Because at the end of the day, it's about promoting Tobago and seeing it be taken to the next level. But we just want it done in a way that minimizes the impact on persons who may not be participating in your specific event.
That's right. Yeah? Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We've been speaking with Gillian Stanislaus, Assistant Manager at the EMA, Emergency Management Agency here in Tobago, as we talk about preparing for October Carnival here in Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we end the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, but it's not where we end our programming. We head on over to GMT, and as we head on over, we invite you to help us share the live, share the live, share the live.
My name is Makira Vane. I am from Trinidad and Tobago and I am 12 years old.
Makira is the only person from the English-speaking Caribbean who have qualified for this tournament in Mexico twice. She's the only one who have won 7 international singles and doubles titles in this area. So she's a real outstanding athlete. It was really a pleasure working with them, and I must compliment Coach Ellen, who have been with me. There's a little joke with me. I gave Coach Ellen his first racket. And I'm very proud. And the work he has put in with Makira is tremendous. Not just on court, it's the discipline.
I'm a proud father, coach, to see somebody right there from Tobago, from Kuso Isle Tennis Club, could be doing so well. So really, really feeling proud. I've been coaching here for about 30 years. So she's been coming here since she won 2 ever since to now. Besides me, it have Coach Williams, Coach Larry, it also have Coach Dunstan. Also it have parents, Mrs. Sandy, people who come out and support. Sometimes when we don't have the funds to go in tournament, they always help. Who will donate a racket or 2 rackets. So it's really like the whole community in Tobago really support Makeda for she to meet this far.
I know that as a national players, they have been claimed nationally and so on. But I want folks to remember that they come from Shore Park right here in Tobago. And we are quite proud of the history of work and the body of work that Coach Williams has done over the years, and we're still going.
I hope when I reach Masters, I could meet in the top 5 places.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
up Tobago, baby.
When we outside, it's an ocean of love. All that we align to the stars up above. Let we dance now, take a chance now with me. And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon gone sleeping. Tell them we not leaving till the last drop of a canal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I'm running tongue again. Jump and shake the ground again. We with all my friends and them. No place like home. We go jump till the moon come down. It's we who the stars shine on. Play a mass and break away. Freedom in with DNA.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the button start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people.
Good morning. Thank you for staying with us. It is Thursday, the 12th of September 2024, and by now you should be at the office if your work time is from 8 a.m. And this morning, we're getting ready to go into our news in 90 seconds, so make sure you pay attention. The decomposing bodies of a mother and her two children were discovered last evening at Parrot Hall, Palais in a 40-foot metal water tank belonging to WASA. This tank was decommissioned. The victims have been identified as 33-year-old Sarah Smith, 3-year-old Genuine Smith, and 18-month-old Phoenix Smith. The trio had been reported missing on the 30th of August 2024. Tobago police are continuing investigations into the incident. Alvin Daniel, also known as a Saji, was fatally shot in Palais yesterday, marking the island's 22nd murder for 2024. Daniel and a female passenger were in a vehicle when gunmen opened fire, with residents reporting hearing gunshots. Both victims were taken to Roxborough Hospital, where Daniel succumbed to his injuries. Police are continuing investigations into the incident. Former Tobago House of Assembly Chief Secretary Orville London is among 5 notable individuals to receive honorary doctorates from the University of Trinidad and Tobago during its 2024 graduation ceremony in October. London will be honored for his contributions to politics and education. The other honorees include Sunarine Persad Kusal for innovation, Leon Edwards for steel pan music, composition and arrangement, Marilyn Gordon for education and sports, and Bertrand Kelman for steel pan tuning and design. President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Madam Christine Kangaloo, UTT's Chancellor, will preside over the ceremony. And that was your news in 90 seconds. Again, thank you for staying with us this morning. I know that some of you have things you can be doing, but you are here on Tobago Updates, and it's always a pleasure to have you viewers. And if you are checking us for the first time, of course, we are located in downtown Scarborough, and we are here to bring you all the current events on the island and, of course, the region. This morning, we are expecting our guest to arrive shortly, and he is, I wouldn't tell you who he is yet, but you'll see him when he's on set. All right. So, of course, you know, Adana would always say, share the live. So as we get ready to have our guest on set with us this morning, I encourage you, of course, to share the live. Tell someone, check out Tobago Updates as we get ready to introduce our guest this morning to you.
fiesta.
This one is for the people and them who don't care what nobody else have to say about them.
Them none of cash, broke what you have, what you know about.
It's too early for that.
Too early, good on. Then you put enough 99. Girl, go the club, girl, right. Nice.
Who's the one friend can drink all the alcohol no matter what?
Put a bottle and spoon and a cup in my hand and I'm winding up on me man.
Dream.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Go in, you have to stop it. You have to stop it.
Welcome to my kitchen, guys.
You have to stop it every night.
That's it. That's the intro. Let's do it one more time, right?
Are you an architect or draftsman looking to upgrade your skills, or a beginner eager to master essential tools? ReCAD Labs has the solution. Our Revit Architecture Fundamental Tobago course is designed to boost your skills and confidence. Running from October 6th to November 17th, this course includes a live session on November 17th for hands-on learning. Learn from experts in our virtual classroom and stay ahead in the world of architecture. Visit recadlabs.com to enroll now and follow us on social media for updates.
A brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor.
Welcome back, viewers. Thank you for staying with us. I am Natalie C.D. Richardson, and again, it's always a pleasure to be with you when I can be on mornings. We are coming to you from downtown Scarborough on the beautiful island of Tobago, and this morning, sitting with me in studio is no stranger to Tobago, Mr. Ancil Dennis, political leader, yes, of the Tobago Council of the People's National Movement. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here on Tobago Updates. Let me say a pleasant good morning to you. And of course, good morning to your listeners and viewers. I know Tobago Updates have a huge following across Tobago, so it's a pleasure to be here.
And if I may add, not just Tobago, but throughout the entire world. Yes, we have a lot of viewers from the diaspora who would make sure to stay connected to Tobago through this medium. And of course, I want us to get right into our conversation. We're talking about how things are in Tobago, specifically comments made by Assemblyman Trevor James. And it's not only his view, but even a lot of people who are just average citizens, if I can refer to them that, talking about the strained relationship between Trinidad and Tobago. One of the reasons why people are pushing for autonomy in whatever form it may look like for them. It has been said that it may feel as though a dictatorship is being run from the Trinidad end when it comes to Tobago. What's your perspective on that?
Well, firstly, let me address the word dictatorship being bandied about by Trevor James and unfortunately the Chief Secretary as well. Farley Augustine seems to be parroting the same thing. I find it to be hypocrisy. Firstly, you cannot expect the police to take action as they want them to against illegal vendors, whether it be in Scarborough or recently down at Pigeon Point Road. They can't expect the police to take action against crime, and of course we have seen an increase in crime in Tobago. But when it comes to them, they seem to want some exemption from police attention. And I want to say to the people of Tobago that the attention is deserved. Because let's go back to Audiogate. Is it expected that the police will have access to a recording like everybody else that heard that recording, where public officials were heard, all of us heard it, plotting to utilize state resources illegally, and action should not be taken? Is it expected that Trevor James, the latest one to receive police attention, would have done whatever he did, because none of us are quite certain of the nature of the investigation, at least I am not. So is it expected that they must break the law and the police should not investigate them?
And let me just ask you,
no one
Mr.
in this
Dennis,
country is above the law.
Is it that there's an issue with, because I listened to Mr. James, I've listened to people from the public, giving, of course, their opinion on matters like these. And the issue seems not so much that the procedure had to be done, but in the way it was done. And a lot of persons are asking if the licensing office has an issue with a vehicle and they need to re-inspect it, etc.
Well,
is there not another way to do it, and why it had to be done like this?
Well, again, we do not know the details of the circumstances. Correct. We are only hearing from Trevor James. Of course, the licensing officers and the police officers will not comment, and maybe that is what they are hoping to do, turn this investigation into a public spectacle, right, which will, of course, hopefully give them some kind of advantage if, in fact, it results in charges. So we don't know the full circumstances. We do not know if it's simply a vehicle inspection. We really do not know. The only information I have is the warrant, which is quite straightforward. There was a video of everything that transpired at Mr. James' residence, and as far as I'm concerned, based on everything that I saw in the video, the officers conducted themselves very professionally. So it appears to be that these people in office now believe that they are above the law. And as far as I'm concerned, the only threat to democracy in Tobago is their existence in public office. And if you were to examine their record, let's look at it. They have been firing Tobagonians from their jobs without due process. They have engaged
in... Is that a fair statement, though?
Yes, it's a very fair statement. If you examine the situation at TADCO, at Community Partnership Unit, and I myself have heard several stories from people coming directly to me where people are simply being fired from their jobs.
Is it that they're being fired because... Is it that they are being fired because their contracts were not in place prior to,
good performance appraisals,
different things like that?
Good performance appraisals, working in the THE for a number of years, and I think everyone should know that according to industrial relations standards, if you are on contract for a certain number of time, you are considered as well as permanent. And all these matters, most of them, as a matter of fact, went to the industrial court, and recently the industrial court ruled in favor of some of those workers. So I think the evidence is there to show that the workers were treated unfairly. We had Audiogate, we had this same Secretary of Infrastructure infringing on the constitutional rights of people right here in Tobago. On 3 occasions, he was taken to court, him and his division, for basically rolling into people's property without their permission, trespassing on their property, and the THE has several matters before the court. That is dictatorship. As a matter of fact, in one of the affidavits submitted by one of the aggrieved persons, a man from Trinidad by the name of Mr. Rampersad, the owner of Kilgwin Estate, who has the THE in court seeking some $36 million in damages, he basically said the same thing. The fact that public officials do not respect land rights and the property rights of people in Tobago is in fact a creeping dictatorship. And to me, that is the only evidence of dictatorship that I've seen in Tobago, the actions and conduct of our public officials in office at this time.
But I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, and it's sad to say that it has become the norm in our politics, but whoever sits at the moment at the head, those on the outside will make accusations. Because, of course, when the PNM was in charge for the last 20 plus years in Tobago, accusations were also made. Some of them may be wild, some of them turned out to be true. And it's just, you know, part of how we deal with things, unfortunately. here.
So there's a stark difference between accusations and allegations supported by evidence.
Right.
Nothing I've said here about these individuals is not supported by evidence. Audio gate, there's a recording. The issues before the court, I have all the court documents. The public should also have access to all the court documents because some of them circulated widely. So there is evidence. We're not saying anything here that we don't have evidence to support. In the past, you're quite right, a lot of allegations were made against me. I've seen some of their supporters making some of the most unfortunate statements that police should seize my phone and arrest me. For what?
But once you're in public light, Mr. Dennis, these things come with it because you have PNM supporters as well. For example, a simple thing as our chat when we have Tobago updates. If we have someone like you, you find that the PNM supporters would definitely tune in. And there's this banter and the other side may make accusations. And when someone from the other side comes, of course, also accusations are made. And some of them are very frivolous. And sometimes I often wonder, are these people really thinking? Are they being reasonable? You may have your political preference. That's your right as a citizen. But sometimes I look at the conversations and what may come out from someone and wonder if they really, you know, are they prepared to stand by that? And let's go back, as you mentioned, the audio gate, etc. So any political group in power, things happen, whether they are good or bad. And I want us to go back again and look at the process of how things are handled in Tobago, whether it may be PNM, PDP, the Tobago People's Party, whomever it may be. And look at how it may be handled from the Trinidad side, coming into what we may describe as like a takeover. For example, with Audio Gate, we had officers from Trinidad ascending on people's offices, their homes, etc. We have with Assemblyman James, you have again Trinidad license office coming in. So the question is, you know, and I'm asking you whether you answer as an individual or as political leader, if that can be separated. Are you comfortable with the operations that are currently taking place in Tobago when we look at how licensed officers are being sent from Trinidad and they come to carry out checks here?
We keep making this conversation about from Trinidad and from Trinidad. And it is quite unfortunate.
But that's what we see.
Right? The reality is it's the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. The reality also is that the Anti-Corruption Investigations Bureau is based in Trinidad.
Right.
And a number of those other units charged with the responsibility for investigating white-collar crime, corruption, which is what these individuals are facing the music for, comes from out of Trinidad. So obviously, if there is an investigation to treat with those things, the officers will come from Trinidad. The same applies to the bank. I worked in the bank for a number of years before getting into politics. And whenever there were issues having to do with fraud-related activities, the unit will come from Trinidad because that is where it's based.
Right.
So it's a conversation that Trevor James and Farley Augustine are deliberately having because it suits their political agenda, which is to pit Trinidad against Tobago. It is dangerous. It is only beneficial to them. It is not beneficial to the unitary state of Trinidad and Tobago. And it is a selfish agenda aimed at giving them political benefit and hopefully presenting some kind of escape from their difficulties. So I'm rejecting it totally. Now, in terms of the licensing officers, Trevor was here talking a lot of foolishness about who licensing officers report to. The law is clear. The licensing officers report to the Transport Commissioner, right? And that is the Motor Vehicles Act. That is the law. Now, he's talking based on one line in the THE Act under the 5th schedule, which says licensing. That is all it says. It says nothing about licensing officers reporting to the THA. Now, obviously, over the years, that was interpreted to mean that the THA would have some kind of administrative responsibility for providing office space, for providing all the necessary requirements for them to conduct their jobs and discharge their responsibilities on the island. So the law is clear where that is concerned. So this conversation about officers coming from Trinidad to investigate them, the departments are based in Trinidad. And the reality is, if people did not conduct themselves illegally, if people subscribe to their oath of office to uphold the Constitution and the law, then we would have no reason for police to come from anywhere to investigate any public official in Tobago, which, by the way, is unprecedented.
Right. So I go back again. Are you comfortable with the way in terms of how the license office is executing their duties in Trinidad and Tobago, specifically Trinidad, when we have licensing officers from Trinidad coming to Tobago in large numbers? And yes, they have to do their duties, but a lot of people, again, are talking about the process. So are you comfortable with that process of the execution of their duties?
So two things I will say in response to that. One, the licensing officers are here on the invitation of the Tobago House of Assembly. They don't come here just like that. The Chief Secretary, coming out of his last meetings with the head of the police in Tobago and other officials, determined that that will be a good strategy to help curb the increasing murder rate and the increasing crime rate on the island. My own personal view is that different strategies should be examined, because the reality is this. From the time the licensing officers place their vehicles on the ferry, a picture is taken, it is placed into WhatsApp groups, and the entire population of Trinidad and Tobago knows that they are coming to Tobago. Guess what? The people who are engaged in criminal activity, who are hell-bent on frustrating citizens and taking away our constitutional rights to enjoyment of property and freedom, etc., they don't come out on the road when they get that information. They hide, they remain underground, they park up their stolen vehicles. If they had any intention of committing a crime at that time, they will delay because they have the information and they wait it out, and the officers come, they conduct their duties. They may be able to find a few people whose vehicles may not be in proper working order. But the real issue of crime and people hell-bent on criminal activity is not necessarily addressed in that way. So I will prefer a situation if they can find a way to disguise those operations. I'm not against them coming to do their work, because that is what they are being paid to do. But the manner in which it is being done at this time, I don't think we are realizing the important objectives of really treating with crime, serious crime on the island.
Right. And I want to go back again to the house. So I am one of those, and I agree with you, that they have a part to play. And not just in crime, but there are a lot of people who are driving without licensing, without insurance, the heavy vehicles, truck drivers. Sometimes I'm driving behind one and the load is not covered. And I'm saying, oh my gosh, if something happens, who is going to stand liability?
A lot of foolishness takes place on the road. A very good friend of mine was him and his spouse, unfortunately, and that still saddens me to this day, was killed by what appears to be the reckless actions of a driver on the road. So yes, those issues need to be addressed, but I'm saying we can be more tactful. Because if, in fact, again, the information continues to get south, white shirts on the road, white shirts coming to Tobago, all the people with those serious infractions will stay off the road, wait for them to depart, and come back out.
When it seems to be very heavy-handed, and when I say heavy-handed, in that you have a license officer stopping you, would do their routine checks, and then appears to be a little more zealous in making sure they find something wrong. So you have reports where persons would be like, they have their sticker, tires, the obvious things, but then when the officer starts to do more examination, as though I stopped you and I'm going to issue a ticket today, I'm talking about that method. How do you perceive that? I mean, from as being a Tobagonian and hearing some of these stories, We know some of them are true, some may not be, but there are some that are true. How do you feel? Because it can happen to anyone.
Within the system, you're going to have people who might be misguided and overzealous. Let's not make any mistake about that. In any organization, including the TTPS, you're going to have people who will go beyond where they should be going.
Right, beyond their
that
call
is
of
reality,
duty.
right?
In a negative spin, yes.
There are things put in place to deal with that, right? If a rogue licensing officer victimizes you or targets you in any way, there are ways to treat with that. The same applies to the TTPS. That's why we have the Police Complaints Authority.
Right.
That's why we have the court system. There are ways to treat with these things, right? So I think we have all the checks and balances in place, all the safeguards in place to deal with police officers and licensing officers whose intentions may go beyond basically keeping law and order and protecting and serving the population.
And of course, viewers, we take a quick break. When we return, we continue our conversation with Mr. Ancil Dennis this morning.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise.
Oh yeah! I said I can't wait for Tobago in October.
Embark on an adventure to the greatest little island on the planet. Tobago invites you to ritual, revelry, and release.
Whining in the Bago sun, having Bago fun, and Bago drinking rum. We go jump up and carry on.
From October 25th to the 27th, 2024, experience the energetic vibe, the vibrant colors, and the unforgettable spirit of the Tobago Carnival.
Down here in Tobago. In Tobago.
Whether you're tripping down the road or marveling at the beauty and creativity of our artisans, Tobago Carnival is an adventure.
I said I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait for Carnival to come. So I call all my friends, making the plans for the Tobago Carnival fun.
Join us for ritual, revelry, and release. Tobago Carnival 2024, where every moment is memorable.
I said I can't wait for Tobago in October.
Out on the road today. Don't tell me about work out on the road today. Don't tell me about work out on the road today.
I can't live without you. I can't be without you for too long. When I'm around you, I feel like the heavens is coming down. I feel it in my soul every time we on the road. It's a miracle.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back, viewers. If you are now joining us here on Tobago Updates Television, I am your host, Natalie Seeley Richardson, and sitting with me is Mr. Ancil Dennis, political leader of the Tobago Council of the People's National Movement. And we continue to, have this interesting conversation and hear from the PNM's perspective in Tobago. And before we switch gears a bit, Mr. Dennis, you made the point of the importance of the unitary state of Trinidad and Tobago. And as you mentioned that, I want you to, from that perspective, do you think that central government is doing enough to curb crime on the island of Tobago? We see what's happening, daily here.
Well, crime has several layers. You have the detection of crime, which is the responsibility of the police service. And of course, you have prevention of crime.
Right.
Which is not the sole responsibility of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. The Tobago House of Assembly has serious responsibilities right here on this island when it comes to securing the island. issues such as community development, youth and sport, the general economy. I think all of those go hand in hand with creating an environment on the island that is not conducive to crime. Over the last 3 years, almost 3 years, I think the economy of Tobago has been seriously mismanaged, and I dare even say deliberately so, because we have a situation where money that used to circulate on the island when the PNM was in charge, and I'm talking about this $300 million, $350 million to $500 million spent on development on the island every year, that money has disappeared from the Tobago economy. And when I say disappeared, we have a situation where all those Tobago contractors, all of them, have been sidelined, no payments, no jobs. The people they used to employ, where are those people now? The young men in particular in the communities. And we're talking at-risk communities like Bethel, communities like Plymouth, like Buku, like Speyside, like Charlottesville.
All
like
the villages,
where,
Mr. Dennis.
Where are those young men now? That's a question that we need to ask. That money is now being placed into the pockets and bank accounts of contractors from outside of Tobago. We saw one contractor got $70 million to do a half-picked dock incomplete roundabout. $19 million to do a road in Tong. $60 million to do another road in Pigeon Point.
I have a question.
Where is that money going? That money is leaving the Tobago economy and going elsewhere. People across the island are complaining all the time. The place is heavy. The place is hard. And I don't think Farley Augustine and his team understand basic economics, because they may feel it's about coming in and victimizing people who they consider to be PNM contractors and taking away jobs from them and giving them to their friends in Trinidad, not understanding that more than the impact that you will have on those individuals and their families and their businesses, there's a wider Tobago economy and a wider Tobago community that is feeling the pain and feeling the hurt and are experiencing a more difficult life than they were prior to this administration coming into office. And I firmly believe that that kind of environment, I'm not saying that people who can't make ends meet should go and commit crime. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that kind of environment is conducive to what we are seeing happening on the island today where crime is concerned. So the Tobago House of Assembly has a serious responsibility in keeping the people of Tobago safe and keeping our island calm, green, clean, safe, and serene.
Right. And as you mentioned that, one, I know, of course, we know there's a new procurement law in place and things have to be done differently. So do you think that also has some impact on the way forward? And I'm asking.
These people are not even following the procurement law. These people are bypassing the requirements of the procurement law. As a matter of fact, these people are not even having procurement. Let's examine the latest, the only project that they believe they have delivered to the people of Tobago, the roundabout and the incomplete road. I challenge you to examine the public records, whether it be EID cut, whether it be the Division of Infrastructure, and check to see if there was any public information that allowed any contractor in Tobago or otherwise to compete, to bid for that project. So they are not even following the procurement legislation. And I want to say this, I hope when the police comes and the office of the procurement regulator comes and the Integrity Commission comes knocking on people's door, that they don't turn around and sing the same song that they are singing now about dictatorship, when in fact their own illegal actions and flagrant abuse of the law is putting these institutions in no other position but to act, because they are duty bound to act, especially when reports are made. You see, if no reports are made, they can perhaps ignore it and give them a blind. But when reports are made about these kinds of behaviors, the police, the Integrity Commission, and all the other institutions with that responsibility are duty bound to investigate at a minimum.
Right. And just following up again on that question about crime on the island, and you would have mentioned the role THA has to play, admitting the fact that yes, there are many layers to why we may have crime. I want us to go back to the TTPS central government, because central government is in charge again of Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, the Coast Guard. Do you think enough again is being done to deploy, and I would use the word limited because everybody in government would say resources are limited, the limited resources to ensure that Tobago is being taken care of? Because we know that Trinidad and Tobago, yes, and you may provide a political perspective, but for those of us who live day to day, average lives, and I am from Trinidad, moving to Tobago, I have been amazed at the disparity between the two islands. And not because of any political party per se, my perspective, but just how central government handles and the systems in place between Trinidad and Tobago. Why it is, if you don't have a Coast Guard vessel, or it may not be deployed here, it has to come from Shagaramas. Of course, I know we do have one here. I heard the Minister of National Security recently in a media briefing talk about 8 vessels are out for maintenance, and I'm thinking, if my family has 2 vehicles, we can't send the 2 of them for maintenance at the same time. Why these 8 vessels have to go for maintenance at the same time? What happened? Things like that.
The system within which these vessels are maintained obviously is broken. The vessels are not being maintained as they should be. And that is why we have a situation where the Coast Guard at this point in time does not have enough assets. Right? That is the reality. That is something I'm prepared to admit. And it has to be treated with. Right? But yes, the central government is responsible for national security.
Right.
But who is responsible for Tobago security? There is nothing preventing the Tobago House of Assembly from taking the necessary steps to secure our island and its people.
How are they going to
national security
secure borders? The Tobago House of Assembly.
National security is one thing, right? You have as well Tobago's security.
Right.
Now, I mentioned things like community development. What has that division been up to in terms of ensuring that we have community programs in place that will treat with things like mediation, that will treat with healing, that will treat with ensuring that we treat with some of the social issues? What is the Division of Social Services been up to? I'm hearing endless complaints about people in need, can't access food cards, can't access rental support, right? That department has gone to sleep, right? The same individuals who were campaigning all across Tobago, Farley, Augustine and others, saying to the people of Tobago that we'll be there for you, you can call us anytime. Guess what? The Chief Secretary phone is dead, no response, right? People complain all the time. So I'm saying all these areas of responsibilities are also geared towards ensuring that we have a safe environment in Tobago. The people that are in need must be taken care of. The people that are most vulnerable, especially the young men, we must have the programs in place. The young people in particular, we must have the programs in place. And more than that, how you manage the Tobago economy is also tremendously important. I mentioned already the classic mismanagement of the Tobago economy that is taking place, and that has to be dealt with. In addition to that, the Chief Secretary, although he is not the Minister of National Security, has the authority to meet with the head of the police in Tobago, as he have done, to meet with the head of the regiment in Tobago, as he has done, and they discuss strategies and they discuss ideas and approaches that can be specific to Tobago to treat with the security of Tobago. I heard him talking foolishness recently about renting pirogues for Coast Guard officials. The Division of Fisheries, the Division of Agriculture, which fisheries falls under, has 2 reef patrol vessels. During the pandemic period, when I was Chief Secretary, we utilized those vessels to ensure that we enforce the pandemic regulations at the time, to prevent people from gathering in the reef and that kind of stuff. And Coast Guard officers boarded those boats. Police officers boarded those boats when the need arose. So we have a crime problem now. We have a problem now where the Coast Guard due to its limited resources, is unable to do what we will expect them to do. And I'm saying the Tobago House of Assembly can utilize those vessels, partner with the police, partner with the Coast Guard, and do what is required.
Right. And though they may have these conversations as a courtesy to whoever sits as chief secretary, the head of the TTPS, the head of the regiment, they take orders from someone else. So what happens when you have these conversations?
The police don't necessarily take orders from anyone else but the police commissioner. The minister, right, doesn't spearhead investigations.
Right.
He doesn't necessarily spearhead strategies. They will discuss overall policies, and he has the responsibility to ensure that national security has the resources. And this country's largest portion of the budget, unfortunately, goes towards national security. We are spending serious money just to treat with a minority of the population, hell-bent on terrorizing the majority of the population where crime is concerned. So the chief secretary, just like the minister, does not have the legal authority to instruct the police.
Right.
Right? But there can be discussions, and there are discussions. And I'm sure the police service will be open to having those discussions. As I said before, the removal of the vendors in Scarborough was not by chance. The removal of the vendors in on Pigeon Point Road, going into Pigeon Point, down at Swallows there, was not by chance. That came out of discussions with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and the Tobago House of Assembly, the Chief Secretary in particular, and they identified that as a possible way to reduce crime. And it is quite interesting that where this Tobago House of Assembly is concerned, all the crime-fighting initiatives are geared towards treating the most vulnerable people in Tobago in a particular way. And I find that to be interesting.
And as we talk about PNM Tobago, we talk about the political party here, of course, preparing themselves for elections, preparing themselves to be the next administration. Are you prepared? Do you think that, and if you are Chief Secretary, that the economic state of Tobago can't get any better and will get any better?
Personally, I believe 100% that I'll be, or that I was actually. I keep forgetting that I was once the Chief Secretary. I believe 100% that I was a far better Chief Secretary than the one in office now. I think I was more accessible. I think I was more concerned with the realities and the plight of the people of Tobago. I think I was a better leader. I think I was a better planner. I think I was far better. As it relates to preparing for the future, the People's National Movement in Tobago as an organization is preparing not just to govern Tobago and not just to win an election, but we are preparing to rescue Tobago, because we believe that it has to be a rescue act. The Tobago economy is at an all-time low. The unemployment in Tobago has exploded. They have fired approximately 300 people from the Tobago House of Assembly. The construction sector has been destroyed totally, causing about 2,000 people who had employment in that sector to now be jobless. I asked the question earlier, where are those young people? What are they doing? Are they doing the 10 on, 10 off that the Chief Secretary and Trevor James put together? Or are they engaged otherwise, doing other things that we hope they will not be doing? So we are preparing to rescue Tobago. We are preparing to have a comprehensive plan to improve our agricultural sector, to improve our tourism sector. And I must admit that in some cases, it will simply be a continuation of what was started during our last few months in office. There's a farmland development program that we started, and that program was simply about identifying vacant areas of lands. Lamy Road was one area, Belmont Road, Friendship Estate, Indian Walk in Moriah, about 5 or so estates. We identified them. We had selected Tobago contractors. We were about to spend about $80 million developing those areas to put in roads, electricity, water, etc. And we identified just over 200 farmers, promising farmers, to go in, occupy those areas and produce. TATCO also had a mandate to ensure that they find the market for persons who were so willing to work with TATCO to get their produce into Trinidad and perhaps the regional and international markets. So agriculture was about to take off. This administration came in, they decided that they have other priorities. That program required $80 million. They decided they're going to spend $70 million on one road. And that same road, the central government was prepared to do it as part of the airport project. So agriculture is at a standstill. And I want to mention this because interestingly, I shared a meme a short while ago on my Facebook page. And it is sad to me that one of the farmers that I visited a few years ago, who I consider to be the most talented or the most serious poultry farmer on the island at the time, and I mean no disrespect to the others, like Fanta Carrington and Melissa and the others, but I'm just saying at the point in time, he had the biggest project, well organized, ready to take off with the right support. We identified, I think it was 5 acres of land for him to go in and occupy at Belmont Road, because the reality is that he was occupying in a residential area at his home, and I think the neighbors had an issue with that because I guess of the smell and stuff like that. Today he's no longer operating, and I find that to be very sad. Right, because we have a number of serious farmers on the island, be it poultry, be it crops, right? Very serious, with serious potential. I saw it myself, and all they required was that basic support, land, infrastructure, and perhaps some financial injection to get going. And I think by now the Tobago agriculture sector would have been transformed. Tourism is another area. We depend highly on domestic tourism, and I don't see anything wrong with that. As a matter of fact, I see that as a unique advantage that we have that the other destinations don't have.
Quite true.
Right? We have 1.3, 1.4 million people in Trinidad that we can easily market to. It's cheap to get here. And to me, that should be our first call for tourism. Of course, we have the international market. There is serious potential in the cruise sector. There is serious potential in international tourism generally. I think TTAL at the point in time when Louis Lewis was the CEO were heading in the right direction. We were seeking out additional flights. This administration came in, they decided to cancel a flight from our main source market, which is the United Kingdom. So they pulled Virgin. We only now have British Airways. And therefore we have to ensure that we put the things in place. The infrastructure as well for tourism has to be dealt with. We had plans on the cards to ensure that we improve some of the existing sites and attractions, and we were going to create new ones as well. All those plans were there and left for them. Now I'm seeing something about Storby Beach Club, and they want to put a pool at the Storby Beach, and they want to close it off from the public and stuff like that, right? So I think Tobagonians must ask themselves a very serious question. We voted for these people based on promises that they made. They promised to fix this. They promised to fix the Tobago economy because according to them, it was broken. They promised to fix the healthcare sector, and by the way, there are some very, very serious, grave challenges within our healthcare sector, especially as it relates to women's health, women going into the hospital, pregnant, who should, of course, expect the best treatment to carry babies healthily to full term, hopefully, and even in cases where they may not be able to go to full term, we expect that our healthcare providers will provide the best care so that babies can be born, because that is something we want to happen in Tobago. We are hoping that the Tobago population will increase a bit. I've contributed 3.
You played your part.
And perhaps there might be more, who knows, right? But there are serious challenges with the healthcare system. A number of totishness is taking place. Some of it I will not mention at this time. I'm still doing my investigation,
Right.
still receiving information, but we have to look at the healthcare system. So they promised to fix everything.
Right.
And I think we have to admit, whether we like the PNM, whether we hate the PNM, whether we like Farley or not, we have to admit, when we look at the performance and the track record, everything that they have promised to fix have become broken. Things that were working have broken down.
Mhm.
Things that were not working so well have gotten worse.
Right.
They have fixed nothing. They have improved nothing. The only thing that has improved under this administration is their personal situation.
Let us take a break with that, and when we return, we will conclude this conversation and wrap up. So stay tuned right here.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise.
Are you an architect or draftsman looking to upgrade your skills, or a beginner eager to master essential tools? ReCAD Labs has the solution. Our Revit Architecture Fundamental Tobago course is designed to boost your skills and confidence. Running from October 6th to November 17th, this course includes a live session on November 17th for hands-on learning. Learn from experts in our virtual classroom and stay ahead in the world of architecture. Visit recadlabs.com to enroll now and follow us on social media for updates.
I'm so relieved Javel gave me this money. Now I could enjoy the holidays with my family and not have to worry about monies for bags, books and shoes.
Javel? Who is Javel? She could give me some money too?
Javel is the July-August vacation education loan at Bethel Credit Union. Up to $20,000 to help with all additional expenses during this July-August.
Yes, you heard right. Call the Bethel Credit Union and ask for Javel. She'll hook you up with the money to take care of all your additional expenses this holiday season. Open to new members too. Get up to $20,000 and have a worry-free holiday with Javel. Call 639-8226 or 631-1336 or message us on Facebook for more information.
Welcome back, viewers. Thank you for staying with us. And we continue our conversation with Mr. Ancil Dennis, political leader of the Tobago Council of the People's National Movement. And we just have a few minutes to wrap up this conversation. And before we leave, Mr. Dennis, tell us about the PNM upcoming public meeting.
Yes, we have a meeting in Tobago East on Sunday, the 15th of September, a meeting that I'm looking forward to.
I can tell. I see when I asked you the question about the public meeting, the smile just came out.
Yes, because we have some very interesting information to reveal to the people of Tobago. A lot is happening behind the scenes in Tobago's governance. We have, fortunately, some whistleblowers on our side. And I shouldn't say they're on our side. They're on the side of the people of Tobago.
Right.
And when they see wrong things, they provide information. And we get to determine when we're going to tell the people of Tobago certain things. Not everything we will say publicly. Some things will be reported to the relevant authorities for their information and investigation. But that is going to be another one of our public meetings. Over the last couple of years, we have been having these public meetings every quarter, where we go and we talk to our members and the people of Tobago generally, and we discuss critical issues affecting the people of Tobago. So we are heading into Tobago East at the Bell Garden Multipurpose Facility, and I want to invite all Tobagonians, whether you support the PNM or not, especially those who don't necessarily support a political party, but you are simply about Tobago's business and the improvement of Tobago and the lives of the people of Tobago, to come out to that meeting. It is going to be a platform of truth, a platform of education, a platform of information, and unfortunately, a platform of revelation of some of the misdeeds and the misgivings of operators within this current Tobago House of Assembly administration. I think on Friday we have a walkabout in that area as well. And we have been walking, the PNM is on the ground several months now, interacting with the people of Tobago, talking to them, getting mostly feedback, right? Because we want to ensure that we are in a position to do a lot better than we did in the past. I think our track record in the Tobago House of Assembly has been significant. I think we engage in a lot of development on behalf of the people of Tobago, but we want to better that next time around. We want to be able to do a lot more in a faster period of time. So we are preparing ourselves for that. As I said,
tell us where the meeting is and the time.
At the Bell Garden Multipurpose Facility, and it is going to be at 5 p.m. in the afternoon.
All right. So for those of you interested, that's something to do Sunday evening, whether you have your party membership card with the political party, or if you are one of those who just wants to know what's going on the island and you can visit. I always encourage us. I know many of us are a particular color till we die, but we live in this we live in this space, and I always encourage, especially our young ones coming up who sometimes are a little bit maybe more exposed and have access to information. You have to listen to issues. It's far too long. Many of our politicians are just into name fighting and calling and back and forth. And really, we don't hear about the issues at hand and what the plans are really for us here, whether you live Trinidad, Tobago, or wherever in the world. So that's a challenge I always put out to our politicians, to our young people who are interested in politics. Let us know what you really want to do and don't get caught up. Of course, it's always interesting when we have leaders come and sit with us to share with us from their perspective, and the time is always too short. So wherever you are on this island, of course, I encourage you to be safe. And as we get ready for, all the political meetings and everything that has been happening, listen to the facts. Don't just jump on a bandwagon. Listen to what's really going on. Assess the information that is put out there from everybody, not just one party, so that you can make an informed decision. I am Natalie, and thank you so much for joining us on GMT this morning.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new